We have a massive Los Angeles Lakers trade update to go over today as a brand new report has dropped revealing some huge details surrounding Rob Pelinka's pursuit of Miles Turner. And this report reveals that a deal may be closer than a lot of Lakers fans think. So stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before you get into it, if you're a part of the 83% who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to go over today. And obviously, things have started to pick up surrounding the Lakers and trade talks as we're about a week away from the trade deadline. And the report that Miles Turner would be available really flared up some talks surrounding the Lakers, surrounding, Miles Turner. But now a new report has dropped revealing some huge information surrounding their actual pursuit of the center. And according to sources with knowledge of the situation, the Lakers have held extensive conversations about Miles Turner internally and are weighing whether it makes sense to put both the first rounders they can move this deadline on the table for him. And that is, of course, from Brett Siegel. And we have a lot of other reports to go over, but this is pretty big. Now, obviously, when the initial report dropped that Miles Turner would be available, there was some pushback from a lot of the reporters saying, not sure the Lakers necessarily either A, have enough to get the deal done, or B, that it would make sense for the Pacers to actually trade Miles Turner because at the moment they don't have a backup center that could really slide into their starting center spot. But then all these reports have started to drop over the past 24 to 48 hours surrounding the Lakers. And usually when there's smoke regarding the situation, there's fire. And in this case, there's definitely some fire. Now, before we move on to another report, let me know down below, would you give up both your first rounders for Miles Turner? That is the big question. I don't know if the Lakers are going to, but things have started to get interesting. We have a couple of course, mock trades as well to go over, but this is also from Anthony Irwin. Sources to Brett Siegel and me, the Lakers have held extensive internal conversations about Miles Turner. Prices on Valanciunas and Vucevic were too high, leading the Lakers to checking in on Turner. Now, the funny thing is that reports were indicating that Valanciunas and Vucevic would be able to be gotten for second-round picks. So to hear now that those prices were too high to leading them to check in on Turner, I don't think this is saying that they're going to be able to get Miles Turner for cheaper than either Valanciunas or Vucevic. But given the level of play from a lot of these guys, and of course Miles Turner being the best fit by far to pair alongside Anthony Davis, you could argue alongside this AD and LeBron core, Miles Turner is the best possible fit out there at center among those names available, and even more of a better fit than Walker Kessler would have been, who, again, seems to be difficult to acquire in a trade at this point. But it's very intriguing to me. It seems like over the last little bit, for whatever reason, talks are really starting to heat up. The Lakers have had internal conversations. They've reached out to the Pacers about him. And you can see this here. This one's from a different reporter, Anthony Irwin. The Lakers have talked a lot about Miles Turner internally. One possible scenario is Rui, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and 2 firsts. Second possible scenario is LA sending Rui and JH Ace first to Portland. Portland sends Robert Williams to Indiana. LA would also have to send a first to Indiana. This allows Portland to maintain and have a big. If LA pursues Turner and gets to the point where they would include both first rounders, they would do so under the term that Turner would sign a new contract after the season that they are comfortable with. Until they reach that point, they will be reluctant to include both first rounders. And as it stands now, LA is open to trading 1 first for Turner at least. Now, I think 1 first-round pick is pretty solid value for Miles Turner. And if you're the Pacers and you're actually trying to get rid of Miles Turner, I mean, not necessarily get rid of, but if you're open to trading him, I would assume they're gonna want 2 first-round picks. Sorry, I think that's probably going to be what they're pushing for, and that's what the holdup is going to be as the deadline approaches. Is that the Lakers will only want to give up 1 first, whereas the Pacers want 2 first-round picks. Now, the 2 first-round picks in question are the 2029 first from the Lakers, and of course, and the 2031 first from the Lakers as well. And as you look at his stats, I mean, he is shooting a career high, almost 40% from 3 this season, averaging 2 blocks a game. He would be a perfect fit alongside AD. It would allow AD to continue to work in the post, allow LeBron James to continue to go downhill while having 2 big men now at your 4 and AD at your 5 and your 4 and your 5 to be able to stretch the floor. And not many teams have that luxury, and it's not like Miles Turner is a stretch 4 or stretch 5 who can't protect the paint. He's one of the better rim protectors in the league when it comes to interior defense. Let's not forget now he's a few years removed from being back-to-back defensive player of the year finalist. Well, not back-to-back, but in 2019 and 2020 or 2018 and 2020, sorry. And as you think about it, I mean, he's averaged as high as 3.4 blocks a game. He's back up to 2 blocks. He's only 28 years old. And if you want to get a guy that, if you can extend him, I think you definitely entertain those 2 first-round picks. Because, I mean, at this point, those 2 first-round picks, there's a low chance you're going to get a player as good of a fit and as good of a player as Miles Turner is. And he's having a down season when it comes to points per game as compared to his last couple seasons. But when it comes to his usage rate, his efficiency has been very solid this season. Not quite as good as previous years, but he's also shooting more threes than previous years. He's hitting more threes, and he's really adopting that stretch role. And I don't know. It's an extremely good fit for this team. And again, Brett Siegel reiterates that the Lakers are prioritizing Miles Turner, sorry, not Miles Bridges, over Vucevic and Jonas Valanciunas. Of course, Miles Turner, not Miles Bridges. But it becomes interesting now because you think about, comparing him to, you can see here, Walker Kessler, right? And Walker Kessler is a very good rim protector. He averages, 10 and 10, whereas Turner is not quite as good of a rebounder. But if you have AD out there to do a lot of the rebounding duties, you can get away with Miles Turner. Now, the difference is Walker Kessler, better rim protector, better rebounder, better interior scorer, maybe. Miles Turner, a better scorer, a better three-point shooter, and is still a great rim protector. So it's like, it's basically who you'd prefer, but if Miles Turner is the one that's more available, then that makes the decision a lot easier for, the Lakers front office here, because Walker Kessler supposedly also wants the 2 first-round picks, and if you're the Lakers, I think you'd probably rather Miles Turner if you're giving up those 2 first-round picks. But diving into a couple of other potential trades here, this is one involving Walker Kessler, so you'd be giving up Dalton Knecht and a couple firsts, and you'd be getting back Miles Turner. Now, I don't think necessarily that you're also giving up Redick because you're going to make salaries match. I don't think that the Lakers are going to give up, multiple firsts or even a first and Dalton Knecht. I think they're going to try to hold on to Dalton Knecht. He's a very good player. The Lakers don't have a ton of young assets that are promising going forward. They've struck out in a lot of their first round picks, whether that be, Jalen Hood-Schifino and others. Dalton Knecht was finally a big hit for them, and I think they're going to want to see how he continues to grow, because if you trade him for Miles Turner and then he goes out and turns into the player that we all think he can be as Lakers fans, and then you go out without a championship, it would be a little bit of a tough pill to swallow, even though it would be a good move when it comes to winning now, maximizing this core with LeBron and AD, and especially as things continue to escalate here. And AD is obviously dealing with now an injury where he's going to miss at least a week. Things are going to start to get a little bit crazy. But again, they're interested in a backup big man. That seems to be the point of attack for this trade deadline. And they obviously got Jared Vanderbilt back, who's going to be their point of attack defender. So maybe their priorities regarding getting a point of attack defender, 3-and-D wing, have lowered a little bit. I still think they need some more scoring off of the bench, but that's obviously going to continue to hopefully develop internally, whether that be Dalton Knecht, whether that be Gabe Vincent, Shake Milton, a lot of these guys. And Dorian Finney-Smith's only going to get more comfortable as well. But let me know down below what your thoughts are. Again, with Miles Turner, very good player, would fit perfectly here. Is he worth 2 first-round picks when he is going to, be a pending UFA soon? That's the big question mark. Now, the Lakers don't have trouble retaining free agents, so I think if Miles Turner came over, he would probably extend. But again, that also depends on the future of LeBron, the future of AD, how things translate to that, because if not, without LeBron and AD, these teams, really without LeBron, this team is probably, it's definitely not quite as good as it is now, but also the future becomes a bit in jeopardy, especially if you give up those 2029 and 2031 first round picks, because then you're at a point where you don't have a ton of assets going forward. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. We're going to keep you updated with all the latest news. Obviously, AD is dealing with an injury. We'll have a video on that later, but let us know down below what your thoughts are. Would you trade for Miles Turner? Let me know. Cheers.